No, good. Innit? I'll see though. Yeah, thanks. I can't tell, you know. Nah, the night slanted. That looks slanted now. Does that look straight?
You look straight to it, no?
So lucky. I'm straight. So lucky. So lucky. All right, this is. Give me 1 second. Let me just pull up my notes.
Are you ready?
All right, no sir.
Imagine you started on one year and straight legs.
I don't get that.
Huh?
That's what I'm saying. I don't get that. All right, this is the Wednesday law class. Also, remember, check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show, which is what? 2 a.m., which is 2 a.m. midnight, well, 2 a.m. UK time. And there's also classes here Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 7 p.m. till 9. Every week without fail, we have classes 394 Lodge Road, B18 5PW. Every black and Hispanic should come down, man, whether you're in London, Manchester, Southampton, Northfield, wherever, man, wherever you are, man, come on down, man. So lucky. No matter where you are, come on down, man, and come and be in these classes in person. Also, we got the Passover coming up, man, April 9th. Make sure you're saving to book that. Because obviously we've seen the building, man, and the building, it looks glorious, man. You want to be there. I'm telling you, you want to be there. So everybody be saving towards that because we want to book that the end of December, start of January. So be putting money down. What month are we in? October? We're in October, man. We've been telling everyone to save for it for the last, what, was it 3 months? Basically, we've been telling everyone to save for it from we got back. And we wrapped up what? Feast of Tabernacles on Sunday. Also what? The next feast day, remember this one ain't a Sabbath, it's a feast day like a memorial. This one, which is December 20th, which is Hanukkah. So we got Hanukkah coming up December 20th. So like I said again.
No day for
December 20th for Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. So yeah, December 20th, a Friday, man. So coming down to that, it's like a month away, man. Well, 2 months away. So everybody coming down to that, man. We're gonna have something special, man. And that is when what? We fought the Greeks and got our temple back, man, and so forth. Yeah, that's when we fought the Greeks, man. And got our temple back. And also that marks what? That marks what? The first anniversary that we got this school, right? And that also marks the first anniversary that we got this school, man. Come on down. We're going to be doing big things. Also, we got some lectures coming up. Man. Officer Parash has got a lecture, Crushing Islam. He's got all the books. He's been reading all the books, man. He's got all them books. You see all them al-Bukharis that you Muslims love so much. All them hadiths that you love so much. All that red dye that you put in your beard. All them man dresses that you like to wear. Listen, man. Officer Parash is going to put all of that to sleep. Do you know what his lecture is?
No, I don't get
Oh, well, he's going to put all of that to sleep, man. He's going to put all of that to sleep. Also, Officer Karafi has got a lecture, man. What's your lecture on?
Britain, black people in Britain.
Yeah, and Karafi's lectures on black people in Britain, man. We also got that lecture. Shamgar and Magawa, they've got a lecture too, right? I believe Shamgar and Magawa, they've got a lecture. They're both doing a lecture, man. So look out for these lectures. We're going to be doing them in the school. So feel free to come on down to those, man. Come on down to those with a notepad, bring your questions and so forth. But yeah, Black History Month is for a good slave, man. Because look at everybody else on the face of the earth. They don't give them a Chinese History Month, a Japanese History Month. They just give you a Black History Month. And during your Black History Month, when every nation that goes to battle, during their history, what do they talk about? They talk about all their victories. They talk about all the fights they've won. It's like a football team's highlights, man. They only show their goals, man. They don't show when they got conceded against. Whereas with your history is you being beaten up, man. Your history is you being beaten up in the hair shop. Some East Indian. What did they call her? What did they call her? A bastard bitch? Did you see on the video? He called her a bloody bastard bitch. Yeah, man. They called her a bloody bastard bitch in the hair shop, man. When they allegedly said they rubbed some hair, which probably ain't even true. And this is what they think about you, man. Every time you buy hair from their hair shop, they just thinking they just want to get money off these bloody bitches, man. Excuse my French. That's what they're thinking, man. All they want to do is get money off you. And this is why everywhere where black people are, what soon pops up? A hair shop pops up sooner or later. Now, Dale Lending Town is notorious for what? Young black kids, man. Young black kids doing what? Robberies, fighting one another, stabbing one another. And then what's the Asian man gone and done? Put a hair shop right on the corner. Have you seen it? Sabina's hair store or something.
What have you seen it?
It's in Dale End. Say like you know where Adams used to be, where the free used to be. Basically, right opposite the KFC, a bit further down. It's right on the corner. Yeah, Sabina's hair something.
So the fight that we saw at the bar was in London, yeah?
Yeah, that was London. I believe that was in Peckham. So yeah, that's what they do. As soon as somewhere where you go, what do? They go and put what? Some Asian hair shop there. Because they know that black people is gonna go there and buy all their hair products, all the cream. What's the cream that black people love? Is it razor cream? Razor. Yeah. Is it razor or razor? Yeah. R-A-Z-A-K or R-A-Z-A-C. Black people love that cream, man. So they put all of that stuff in there. And then now you go to them to buy cocoa butter from them, man. We probably the only people on the face of the earth that uses cocoa butter. And we have to go to East Indians to buy our cocoa butter. Also, what? You see when you want yam and banana, who do you have to go to? East Indians, man. These East Indian man's trying to tell you, nah, this is good yam. Like, we don't know. He's trying to tell me, I can't have that yam, take this one because this is good yam. Like, I don't know what good yam is. They're selling us all the things that we use, man. You see when you want to make a pot of soup, the yam, the sweet potato, everything. He's got it all in his shop, man. You have to go to him for it. For coconuts. We probably the only people that use coconuts and eat coconuts and put coconut in our rice and all that. Personally, I don't like it. Coconut in the rice. You like it? Nah, personally, I don't like it, but we're the only people that put coconut in our rice, man. And what happens? They pull it all in their shop because they know that we spend the most money. So you have a black neighborhood and there won't be one black shop in that black neighborhood. Every shop in that black neighborhood is an East Indian shop or a white man shop selling you stuff, man. And most of the time, the stuff's gone off. You're buying ackee from them, man. You go to them, feed chicken, and the way that their chicken is, have you seen how they bring it in that van with no refrigerator? It's this. Yeah, they throw it over their shoulder and it smells gone off and everything. That's the kind of meat that they give to us. I mean, do you really think when you go to their shop, they're going to give you the good meat? Nah, man. They reserve the good meat for their people. And then people like us, we get the stale meat, man. Now, that's how the East Indians treat us. Now, how does our oppressor treat us? What does he do? Throws in jail, man. Glorifies all this criminal activity so we can go and live it, man. Glamorizes all this gangster lifestyle so we can go and do it. And then throws us in jail. That's how all these nations treat us. All these nations view us as idiots and as simpletons and treat us like garbage, man. And then they have the cheek to what? Enslave us, whip us, murder us, put us on cotton fields, sugarcane fields. make us live on the plantation, shoot our sons dead in the streets, have our daughters and sisters swinging from poles, teach us that we're nothing, we're 3/5 of a man, and then guess what? After that, they give us a Black History Month. To top it off, they give you a Black History Month. And then Black History Month does what? It makes black people say, you know what, they ain't that bad, because I mean, we got a Black History Month. And then we feel special, we feel important. You start to see these Pan-African people, well, these Israelites who follow this Pan-Africanism nonsense, start to do what? Set up their little Black History Month workshops. Their stall, yeah, their stall. So lucky, if you could, I believe you should be able to pull it up on the screen share. It is type in Black History Month, zebra crossing. It should come up. I'm gonna show you what you got for Black History Month, man.
Can't screenshot about the camera yet.
Yeah, no sir. I mean, the same zebra crossing that they gave you, it used to be a gay pride, man. It used to be a gay pride one. They had the yeah, there it is there. You see it? Pride crossing replaced. Go left. Have I got the con? Go a bit closer. Bit higher, lift it a bit higher. Lift it up because it's up a bit more. Yeah. So basically, this right here, this is the zebra crossing that they gave you. Pride crossing replaced to celebrate Black History Month. So before that, you know, before this zebra crossing, it was what? Gay pride crossing.
So before that, was this one here?
Yeah. So before that, it was the LGBT crossing. So before they gave you this one for Black History, that was an LGBT crossing. And listen, if the LGBT crossing is going to be there, yeah, I'm crossing the road anywhere else. You're going to have to run me over. So lucky, I ain't crossing on some damn rainbow LGBT crossing. But that's what they gave you for Black History Month. So all the robbery and all the murder, that's what you gave me for Black History Month. So lucky, quickly put it back on that flag one more time, the Black History one. Yeah. So listen, this is what that crossing is what they gave us for Black History Month. Look at it, the Pan-African colors. One sec, let me just go back to it. Up a bit. Up a bit more. A little bit more. Yeah, that should be 12. So yeah, this is what they gave us for Black History Month. The Pan-African colors. And then this is supposed to what? This is supposed to what? Do away with all the murders, all the rapes, the theft of a whole country. They've took your whole country and just gave you a zebra crossing, man. They've took your whole country and gave you a zebra crossing. They've put drugs in your community and then gave you a zebra crossing for so lucky, not Black Pride, I mean Black History Month. Listen, man, the only thing that we want, you see, we want a zebra crossing paved in our oppressors' blood, man.
Right.
That's what will make me happy, man. You see me, I want to walk across the road in what? Our oppressor's blood, man. I want his blood to be spilled on the ground and I want to walk across it, and that's the zebra crossing that I'll accept, man. If you're not going to give me that zebra crossing, I don't want it, man. Instead, you give me some Pan-Africanism nonsense. Give me that scripture, a gift destroyeth the heart. I believe it's Ecclesiastes 7:7. The cheek of it, man. At least give me half the land back. Just give me half of the land back, please. But no, what did they give me? Some zebra crossing. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man.
And we are people, man, that's been oppressed. And if you was wise, you'd be mad about this. If you was wise, you wouldn't be getting happy about receiving some zebra crossing. What's the zebra crossing, man? Our kids is getting choked to death in the streets, man. What's the zebra crossing? If you was wise, you'd be mad about all the atrocities, all the murders, man. You'd be mad at it. But obviously, I guess most of our people ain't wise, and this is why they're happy. I seen some man talking about, oh yeah, oppressed the government, and now they gave us a zebra crossing. You're happy about a zebra crossing when Esau's got the whole world, man. Esau wanted more than a zebra crossing, man. Esau wanted you in chains, and he wanted to whip your back, and he wanted you to work on his cotton field, and he got it, man. And he got it. And what do you get? Oh, just the zebra crossing. Just the zebra crossing. Do you know how silly that sounds? Listen, man. Any man that's happy with just the zebra crossing, you can't be a wise man. Go ahead.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart, man. Meaning the mind. Meaning what? Once you was all angry and upset, and you was seeing this man for who he is. You're seeing this man for how evil he is, and then he's just gave you a zebra crossing, and now he's not that bad no more.
Right.
He just gave you a zebra crossing, and now you can tolerate him now. Now you can be his friend now. Now he's not that evil now because he's gave you a zebra crossing. The Bible says a gift destroyeth the heart, man. And that's what they've gave you, man. A gift. They know to stop you from getting out of line. Once a year, oh yeah, you can have Black History Month. Once a year, you can have Black History Month. Listen, man, for Black History Month, man, our oppressor needs to be in chains for Black History Month, man. Give me 30 days of freedom, man. How about that, man? How about he puts himself in chains for 30 days, man? They say the population of what? They say the population of the British population is about what? Is it about 70% European?
Europe, England.
Yeah, Europe. I think England. You know, was it 90%? I think it was about 89%. So they say Britain is what? 89% British. Well, for Black History Month, I need 89% worth of handcuffs, man. Because 89% of people need to be chained up, man, for Black History Month, so that Black people can walk from A to B without being murdered by the policeman. So we can walk from A to B without being racial profiled, man. At Carnival, there was doing one thing where what? At Carnival, there was doing one thing where it's stop and search. Those were a man that was just standing there watching because he wanted to see how they was doing the stop and search. And guess what he said? He goes, for every 8 Black people that got stopped, 1 white person got stopped. So how is that fair, man? How is that fair, man? Out of 10 people, 8 of them is Black, man. One's probably white, one's probably Asian. Go ahead, you can say something.
Go ahead. The whole what's worse is the whole zebra crossing thing ain't even in all of England. Because certain parts of London. So it says here, it says, Black History Month takes place in October each year. The crossings are in Greenwich, covering the district of Woolwich and Plumstead Town Centre. That's it.
See,
you won't find it in Birmingham.
exactly.
Just not even all London, just Greenwich.
Just them areas, man. Which means what? There's only a few. There's only a few, man. And that's what they give us. Not even one. Not even every zebra crossing. They give you a few just in one area, which lets you know the nature of this man. He's just giving you this as a gift. All this is a gift, man. Give me a Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54. And then honestly, believe it or not, he is the reason, this oppressor is the reason for all our problems, man. The same man that gives you Black History Month is the reason for all our problems. He's the reason. Listen, you see, if you failed your GCSEs, don't beat yourself up, man. It's because of him why you failed them, man. Right. You see, if you dropped out of uni, don't beat yourself up. It's because of him why you dropped out of uni, man. You see, if you feel like you're a failure in life, it's because of him why you feel that way, man. Because here's the problem with everything in our life. Here's the problem with everything in our life, man. Making you do timetables and joint up writing. Joint up writing for what? I'm still trying to figure out, what do we even need joint up writing for? When I read things on the internet, that writing's not joint up. Is that writing? That writing ain't joint up, man. What do I need? He marks you on joint up writing. What do you need joint up writing for? Is it joint up writing to call it? Joint writing. So lucky here. Joint handwriting. What do we need joint handwriting for? Yeah, the teacher had to do it. And then when you get so good, what do they give you? A pen. You get a pen for being so good. Listen, man. I don't know where they're going with this nonsense. Even the school curriculum, half of it's just so silly, the things they make you do. All this algebra, 24 times this equals A. Listen, in the real world, man, when do people use that, man? When do people use that in the real world, man? Besides, even if you ain't good at maths, man, there's calculators, man. Go ahead.
The comedy was that I've never understood the use of silent there. So what's the use of you can't hear it.
Exactly, it makes sense. All of this stuff, man. Listen, most of it don't make no sense. Go ahead.
54. Was it?
Yeah, 54.
Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you.
So now there's one time what? We dealt with each other good, man. Brothers would understand that's my brother. And when it says tender, don't think how people use the word tender today. Just think we had brotherhood towards one another. Our brother had love towards another brother, man. Go ahead.
And very delicate.
And very delicate meaning what? You ain't gonna want to harm your brother, man. You know why? Because that's your brother, and we understood that before we went into slavery. Go ahead.
His eye shall be evil toward his brother.
And then now, because we see how evil our oppressor is to us, how we see him treat black men like a piece of meat. Guess what we do? We start to treat other black people like a piece of meat, man. Imagine if you see a man ill-treating someone and you regard that person as nothing. You're going to also treat that person like they're nothing, not realizing this oppressor looks at all of us the same. He looks at him like he's nothing, and he looks at us like we're nothing. And this is why killing a black man, it's just like killing a roach. I mean, before Facebook, you wouldn't even know what's going on in other cities. Before Facebook, you wouldn't know what's going on in other cities. You see, without Facebook, you see all the murders that you've seen on Facebook. You wouldn't know that those existed if Facebook didn't exist.
Right.
So just think before the internet, how much black men was killed in horrible conditions that you didn't know about, man. Because there's tons of them that you would never know about without Facebook, without the internet, without Instagram. Look at all the police brutality. You wouldn't know how much black men is brutally beaten up by the police without the internet. We wouldn't know what's going on in New York, in California without the internet. We wouldn't know that they're living the same how we living in Puerto Rico, man. We wouldn't know about the favelas and how they're living in Brazil, man. We wouldn't know without the internet. So imagine how much things which is going on which don't even make the internet. There's a ton of things that we see that don't make the internet. Go ahead.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
And then now we're evil towards the wife of our bosom, man. Go ahead.
And toward the remnant of his children.
And towards the remnant of his children, man. And now women are evil towards men. Men are evil towards women. Now women have what? Government assistance, which means they can do what? They don't have to let that black man see his kids. Even though he wants to see them, they'll say, no, you're not seeing them unless you give me money. Now, if you want to see them kids, you have to pay for the travel and everything. Listen, you have to pay for her to get back home as well. You want to pick up the kids and say, you know what, I want to take them on a 3-day holiday. Listen, every black man knows, man, if you've got kids with a woman and you're not together, she ain't letting you take them on holiday, man. You think you can say to her, oh, you know what, I want to take the kids to Spain. No way she's going to let you, man. You have to ask. Whereas with her, she don't need to ask you. You just see a picture of her that she's posted on Facebook in Spain. But if you do it, what did you do for a kidnap? To do if you kidnap of your own kids to where you can't even take them on a vacation, man. You can't even access their passport or birth certificate without her giving you one. Like with my dad was one of them mans where he wanted a copy of all of our birth certificates because I believe you can have 2 copies, right? You can have 2 copies. He wanted a copy of it. My mom used to say, no, what do you need it for? Whether he needs it, who cares what he needs it for, man? He could just have it just to do whatever he wants for it. It's his kids, man. But obviously, even that, you can't even get a birth certificate without their permission. So this world has become horrible to black men, man. But drop that, give me Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 22. Also, if you got any questions, type them in.
Isaiah 42 and 22. But this people is robbed and spoiled.
It says, but this people is robbed and spoiled. And who are this people? This people is us, man. We robbed of everything. We robbed of everything, man. This people is robbed and spoiled. Who robs us? These other nations rob us. And they also kill us. They also slaughter us, man. That's what these other nations do to us. This people is robbed and spoiled. And we've been robbed of everything. And then Black History Month, what do they give you? A zebra crossing, man. So you mean to say they can rob your land, they can rob your culture, they can rob your history, they can claim that they're Jesus Christ. Listen, during Black History Month, they're supposed to tell you that Jesus Christ is black, man, but they don't give you that, man. Jesus Christ is what? Blonde hair and blue eyes, man. That's what they tell you, man. And they tell you, oh, your history started in slavery. You lot was animals swinging from trees. You're a nation of thieves and drug dealers. That's what they say, man. We're a nation of thieves and drug dealers. When really, we're the wisest people on the face of this earth, man. And ain't nobody better than us on the face of this earth. Even the movie Get Out came on yesterday. Did you watch it the other night when it came on? Listen, man, I was watching the movie Get Out, man, again. And obviously that movie is about what? Esau knows that they're inferior to us, man. So what did they want to do? Put their brain inside a black man's body because they know that obviously our genetic build-up's way better. Even the girl's brother in there said, oh, you black men have good genetics. You'd be good if you train jiu-jitsu. Remember when he said that to him? He's like, you'd be good if you train jiu-jitsu. Obviously, I remember I watched the film about 2 years ago we seen it. We seen it when it came out, about 2017, I believe, about 2 years ago. So we watched it again, and you will see, man, this is how our oppressors view black people, man. They look at us like we are a machine, like, wow. They look at us like we are a machine, like, wow, how can he run so fast? They do studies on black people, man, as to how black people can run so fast. They understand that they can't compete with us, man. They cannot compete with us. The only way they can compete with us is when we're old and knackered and over the hill. And this is why with boxing, they want Mayweather to come back so bad because he's old now. So they're gonna make some white boy beat him. That's what they'll probably do if he comes back. When we know Mayweather in his prime, yeah, no one ain't beating him, man. Look what he done to Ricky Hatton when Ricky Hatton was supposed to beat him, man. Same thing they done with Mike Tyson, made the old Mike Tyson come back and lose to nobody who should have never lost to. Go ahead.
People got this spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes.
They are snared in holes, man. And what's a snare? A trap. And they lay traps for us. They put drugs in our community. They put all these boys in the hood movies on TV for us to go by. They put all of that in our and make us see it, man. Because if you notice, all these black movies that they show us, why is the main character never got a father in their life, man? The main character's never got a father in their life. And the most people watching it can identify with Doughboy because what? We ain't had no fathers too. And then we want to be the man that runs the block. I mean, nobody wants to be Trey that jumps out the car. So lucky, even now I don't want to be Trey that jumps out the car. So lucky, nobody wants to be Trey that jumps out the car, man. Everybody wants to be who? Doughboy. And what's the next one's name? I can't remember his name.
Doughboy,
He's the only one that everybody wants to be. That's why. And everybody wants to be, what is it from Menace to Society? Everybody wants to be old dog. See, listen, everybody wants to be old dog, man. That just shoots his bosses his gun for no reason, man. Everybody wants to be old dog. Everybody, you speak to a black man, who do you want to be? Nobody wants to be Trey. Everybody wants to be who? Doughboy. And because we've got no fathers, who do we identify with? The drug dealers on the streets, man. They become your father figures. They the ones that give you change. They the ones that tell you do this, do that. That becomes your father figure. Then you want to be like them. Then you have all these movies on TV. And then subconsciously, you think, okay, that's how a black man's supposed to be. And then they give us movies like Baby Boy. And then they make out that every black man's a deadbeat dad. They make out like every black man is like, what's his name? Tyrese. They make out like every black man is like Tyrese. What's his name in there? Yeah, they make out like every black man is Jody. They make it like every black man uses his woman's car and then has to go back to a pedal bike. That's how they make out, man. They make it like every black man don't take care of his kids. Every black man don't work. He drives his woman's car. He lives off his woman. They make out. That's how black men are, man. And then you have the record labels who's what? Run by our oppressors. The three biggest music groups is run by Esau, man. They run it, but all the artists they have on them labels is people like Jay-Z, people like TLC, all these black artists. So they tell them what kind of song they want to hear. And then they would be like, you know what? Make a song about black men being bums. Meanwhile, they're hidden out the way. So you think this is these black artists' views when really they're just told to make them songs. And then guess what happens? You have to hear a song like No Scrubs come on. You have to hear a song like No Scrubs, come on. And it's even worse if you're sitting in the car with a woman and you're the passenger, man. You have to listen to No Scrubs, sitting in the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Listen, man. And you know, when they made that song, when you listen to that song, the first thing that comes to your mind is black men, man. Don't nobody else come to your mind. Don't them Arabs that beat their half-wife to death come to your mind. Don't them Africans that be killing everyone come to mind. Straight away, we come to mind, man, when you hear them songs. And then Beyonce's to the left, everything you own in a box to the left. When you think of that, who do you think of? Black man. She even had a black man playing the role in the song. To the left, and anything you own in a box to the left. These things only apply to black men, all these songs, man. Because they know how to belittle black men, man. They know how to tweak what they want on the airways, like what they want to get out. And then what happens? People start to listen to that, and women start to sing that song and believe this is how life's supposed to be. And who sings that song, Miss Independent? Is it Beyonce again? Nah, there's another one. Obviously, Neo's a weirdo, Miss Independent. Listen, doesn't Neo even have a woman? Someone said to me it was gay. I don't know how true. I believe it after hearing that. Miss Independent. I believe he might be gay, to be fair, after that song, Miss Independent. So now, they even got men singing these songs, all these men uplifting women and belittling black men at the same time. What's that song where that man uplift? You have to put that woman first. Who sings that song again? you have to put that woman first. What's his name again? So lucky someone in the comments just type his name in, and I need to know his name. And Taurus Riley, she's royal, and now they make all these kind of songs, man. But anyway, drop that. Give me Exodus chapter 1 and verse 12. But yeah, man, all these things is what? To belittle us, man, to belittle black men and so forth. And then all these rappers, what? Rap about hoes, have them twerking in videos, and who's the women swinging from the poles, man? Often our sisters, man. Often our sisters swinging from the poles, man. All these things is targeted at us. Everything you see is targeted at us. Now, when people talk about the strip club, who do they pay to go and see? They pay to go and see black women. They don't want to see. They know they don't want to see no white women, man. They pay to go and see black women, man. So now they teach our daughters to what? Swing from poles, dress half naked.
I brought a license, Jahim.
Jahim. That's the name. Jahim. That's the name. So now you have Jahim trying to mess things up for black men. So lucky if I could. You have Jahim trying to make it. It's already hard for black men out here, and Jahim's making it worse. You have to put that woman first. So what happens when you don't want to put that woman first? What happens? She decides she wants to, go open her legs to every other man that's about now. Because Jahim's talking about you have to put them first. And then where's Jahim now? Have you seen him now? That's where Jahim is now, man. That's what Jahim gets for putting them women first, man. That's what Jahim gets for putting them women first. Jahim should have put the Lord first, man, and he wouldn't be taking drugs, man, because he'll be putting the Lord first. But when you put that woman first, it drives you to taking drugs because you worship her like she's God, man. Give me Exodus chapter 1 and verse 12.
Exodus 1 and 12. But the more they afflicted them,
and the more they afflicted them. Now, this is going on right now. This was going on in Egypt, man. The more they afflicted them. Our people's being afflicted right now. We've been afflicted with everything, man. All these things they're throwing in your face. All these things they're doing subconsciously. All these things they're afflicting us with it, man. Go ahead.
The more they multiplied and grew.
And the more we multiplied and grew, they afflicted us, man. You know why? Because these Egyptians understood something. They didn't want us to overtake them. Esau understands the same thing, man. The more we multiply, he needs to get rid of us. So what does he do? Gives us all these movies so we go kill each other, man. Gives us all these drugs so we sell drugs to one another. Increases the prison sentences for black men, man. Because he wants to make our nation small, man. They don't want us to multiply. Same way they didn't want us to multiply in Egypt. They don't want us to multiply right now. This is why they give you all of these things, man. You think it's just a coincidence? I mean, your movie has to be Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. But Esau's movie is what? Spider-Man, Batman. I mean, if you got kids, just look at your kids, for instance. What's every young boy into? Spider-Man, right? Every young kid is into Spider-Man, Batman, and guess what? None of them are black. So they look up to Spider-Man as Batman and as superheroes. And then as you grow up, you start to think, hold on, where's the superhero for black people? And then you start to realize, you know what? There's no superheroes for black people. I have to be like Doughboy. And this is why we need to teach that Jesus Christ is black so much, man. So you can see that there is a superhero for black people. So we can see that there was a man who lived how we lived, man. And a man who overcame. That's why it's very important to teach that Jesus Christ is black. Because what will happen is what? Your kids will grow up on Spider-Man, Batman, and then straight away, when they grow up, they realize there's no superheroes for black people. And this is why when kids have these things in school where they have superhero day or hero day, and guess who every black kid brings in? Spider-Man, Batman. Guess who every black girl brings in? A white Barbie doll, so forth. Because we taught that there's no what superheroes for black people. I mean, Spider-Man does what? Goes through windows with a balaclava. When I wear a balaclava, they tell me I'm a thief and I'm a criminal, man. If Spider-Man can wear a balaclava and go through windows, why am I a thief and a robber when I wear my balaclava, man? You know why? Spider-Man's a racist too, man. So all these things is racist too. If they made a black man movie where he's got on a balaclava and it ties people up as well, you would say this man's a criminal. But Spider-Man's a superhero when he does it. And this is the same thing why when a white cop shoots a black man, you say he's a superhero, man. Because in this world, they make out that like what our oppressor is what? A society of superheroes. They make out like they're superheroes. They're here to keep the earth safe, and we're the villains. They make out like black people are villains, man. A black man could be minding his own business. A black man could mind in his own business, but guess what happens? Police still want to come and bother us. Still want to say, "Oh, you match the profile of a man we're looking for." But I read on.
And they were grieved.
And listen, they were grieved, man. And our people are grieved right now. Listen, man, this is black history, man, out of the Bible. What happened in Egypt is happening also right now. We grieved, man. Our oppressor is grieving us, man. Go ahead.
Of the children of Israel.
And they were grieved at us. You know why they was grieved at us? Because we was multiplying too fast, man. We was a nation where we were having kids. We were flourishing. And they thought, you know what? Put them in slavery, that will slow them down, man. And same like today, what do they do now? Give us drugs to slow us down. Give us the corner to slow us down. Give us black on black crime to slow us down. Give us guns to slow us down. Right. And I don't think you know about in the UK, in Birmingham, there's two gangs. There's two major gangs, the Bergers and the Johnsons. And did you know that they was both buying guns off the same white man? Excuse me. Did you know they was both buying guns off the same man? This same man was selling guns to both sides, man. So you're thinking he's got your back by selling you a gun to kill them. Meanwhile, he's selling them guns to kill you, man. Right. And all he cares about is profit. He don't care that you're going to die and your kids are going to grow up without a father and the cycle's going to continue. He don't care that their kids is going to die and grow up without a father and the cycle's going to continue. He just cares about making money, man. But if you brought the gun and turned it on him, and we don't advocate violence against no one in here, but if you done that, it would be a different story. But he sells gun to both sides, man. He's responsible for multiple killings, and I think he only got about 12 years. Even though he's responsible for multiple killings, he only got about 12 years. Go ahead.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, man. They made it hard, man. Same like they make it hard for us out here. Same like they made it hard for us in slavery. Same like they made it hard for us, man. They're making it hard for us right now. They make us serve with rigor, man. Listen, a black man could have all the best credentials, but if you go to a job and there's some Edomite sitting there, you know that he's going to get, if the Lord ain't with you, you know he's going to get the job, man. You know they want to hire him, even though you can have better credentials than him. Go ahead. And this is why most black men in the UK have the same kind of jobs, man. Have you noticed? Most black men in the UK have to do the same kind of jobs, whether it's a driving job or security or what else do we do? Or whether it's warehouse work or night work, because they don't want to give no black man no good job down here. Go ahead.
Verse 13, 14, and they made their lives bitter.
And they did what?
Made their lives bitter.
Listen, man. If you're a black man and your life ain't bitter, man, you're a damn liar, man. Because they making our lives bitter, same like they made it bitter in Egypt. You know why your life's bitter? Because you're living from paycheck to paycheck, man.
Right.
Do you know how hard it is to live from paycheck to paycheck? Which means you're one paycheck away from being homeless, man. You're one paycheck away from that not having that car, man. You're one paycheck away from not having no shoes on your feet, man. They make our lives bitter. Now, you spend most of your time at work. People work what? 5 days a week. You work 5 days a week. Your kids is at school 5 days a week for 6 hours. By the time your kids come home from school and you finish work, you're just so tired to teach them anything. So all they know is what they've been taught at school. And then during Black History Month, this is what they teach your kids at school. Oh, have you there was a disease called the Black Death. There was a disease called the Black Death, and it came from black people. That's what they teach your kids, man. So they teach your kids that they're a disease. So if you're teaching black people that they're this and that they're that, and they don't know no history, black people's going to start to think, you know what, I'm worthless. And statistics say I should be dead by 25. So we just say, you know what, I'm going to be dead by 25. Let me just live reckless. Let me live reckless, man. Listen, man. Before I.S.U.P.K, I used to believe I'd be dead by 25, man. You can ask my rib. Listen, I play my funeral song and everything. I told her this is the one I want them to wheel my casket out to and everything, man. This was before I realized Jesus Christ was black. This was before I realized that I'm in the UPK and I'm gonna live forever, man. So lucky. This is before I realized that I'm gonna live forever, man. Thinking I'm gonna be dead by 25 because they lied to us, man. Go ahead.
God. And they made their life bitter with hard bondage.
And they made their life bitter with hard bondage, man. Hard slavery. You think picking cotton was easy?
Right.
You think cutting sugarcane was easy? You think working sun up to sundown on a Jamaican plantation was easy? Nah, man. That was rough. That was rough, man. You working sun up to sundown, and then you're living in some little shed, and then you had to chase. And then the slave master used to be smart with you. He used to say, what? Because the rats was eating like the eating up the sugar and all the other stuff, whatever that was growing. They used to be like, what? Bring 100 dead rodents, and we'll give you a bottle of rum. So black men used to chase rats and kill the rats and bring 100 of them for one bottle of rum. So you mean to say we must do that for one bottle of rum? Listen, man, they use us, man. All they do is use us and abuse us to do their dirty work. And they use us to do their dirty work by killing another black man, man. They make us do their dirty work. Really, they want all black men dead, and they use you to do it, and then they throw you in jail, and then they have 2 black men off the street, man. Go ahead.
God. In mortar and in brick.
In mortar and in brick, man. This is when we was in Egypt. Go ahead.
And all manner of service.
And all manner of service, man. All types of service, man. Go ahead.
In the field.
In the field, man. And black man, we've been in the field before, man. We was in the field in Egypt. We was in the field in the Caribbean islands, in the States and so forth, man. Wherever we was carrying out slavery, man. We was in the fields. We was serving, man. Hard bondage. I mean, a man making you a slave is one thing, but why does he need to cut off your limbs? Why does he need to cut off your nose, man? In them history books, it tells you that he cuts off your nose as a punishment. If you run away, he cuts off your legs. He would cut off your arms. I mean, what's the need to do all of that, those barbaric things, man? If you're making someone a slave, just, this man went too far with it, man. And then now you tell me that, oh, that was in the past, we should love him. Listen, man, in order for that to be in the past, he needs to give back what he stole, man. He needs to give back everything he stole. Now, he set up the British Bank off of slavery, man. And now they got a British bank all over. They got one in Jamaica as well. He set up that off the back of slavery. And now you have to go to him for a loan. And he looks at you, and if your face don't fit, he don't want to give you the loan, man. He looks at you and gives you higher interest, man. Do you know when black people came over here from the Caribbean, the Windrush generation, that what a black family was paying for 1 bedroom is more than what a Caucasian family was paying for a 6-bedroom house, man. And the wages that those paying black people was way less than those paying the Caucasian family. So imagine you're getting paid less in wages and you're still paying more in rent. And then people make out like black people are just so dumb and so stupid. Why don't black people own anything? Why don't black people own anything? If you knew what was going on behind the scenes, the system's not fair, man.
Right.
The system is rigged to keep black people down, man. The system is rigged to keep black people behind. You're looking at Esau thinking, oh, wow, you black people should have this much houses and this much land. How are we to have that much land if the system is rigged? If you think you're getting paid the same as everyone else when really you're not, man. They done a study on it. You can look up the article. It was in The Guardian. And they said black people on salary, their salary tends to be way less than everybody else's salary. Now, during slavery, black people was what? Picking cotton in Jamaica. And then when the so-called abolished slavery in the 1800s, what did they do? Instead of paying black people to pick the cotton, instead of paying black people to cut the sugar cane, instead of paying black people to do it, you know what they did? They brought them East Indians from hundreds of miles away, man, from a whole nother continent.
Right.
They brought the East Indians over from a whole nother continent to do what? To pay them as an indentured servant. That's what they call her, an indentured servant. They brought them over to pay them as an indentured servant, man. Instead of black people's been picking cotton for so long, black people have been picking cotton for so long that what? They would have had the experience, man. You've been picking cotton these years. They would have had the experience. But what did Esau do? Said, you know what? They've been doing it for free. We're not going to pay them. This is what we're going to do. We're going to bring East Indians from an 18-hour flight away, and this is before flights. They came by boat, which took months, man. Took months. They took them from a whole other continent to do what? To come and work on the cotton fields. And black people what? Left slavery with nothing, man. So now when you look at the Caribbean islands, who runs it now? East Indians, man. East Indians run all the hotels. East Indians run all the big spots over there. And then you hear people talking about what they want to call it. What's the coolie? Just say East Indian with a Jamaican accent. What is it?
Cool is like a derogatory term that they give them over there. No, something like it's a derogatory term. It's Indian indentured servant, basically.
And now you hear black men saying what the one a woman with a cooler complexion. Listen, man. Listen, man. That's just the East Indian, like the other ones that just have the yellow teeth, that are hairy. Yeah, all they got now is the Jamaican accent. You trying to make her black, she's never going to be an Israelite, man. You trying to make her black, it's not going to happen, man. I know you want one so bad, but listen, the Lord said you can't have one. Listen, the Lord don't care what accent they have. The Lord don't care what accent they have. Listen, they can probably speak, even if you find the East Indian woman that can speak Hebrew better than us, you still can't have one, man. Listen, I don't care if she watches every Sabbath service, you still can't have her, man. The Lord wants you to stay with your people. I mean, why not be with your own people that can relate with what you can relate? I mean, imagine you as a black man end up with some Edomite woman and you go around to the house to see the family and you're watching a movie and someone says nigger on TV. The whole family's going to look at you like, because you're the only nigger in the room, man. If you've got a black woman, your culture's the same, man. You're all niggas, man, which is a good thing. You all got the same culture. Whereas Esau does what? They have pets on the bed. You'll see their house have dog hairs all on the pillow. You'll see Edomites come to your slavery saying, "Oh, I put my wet uniform in the wash with the dog blanket." That's the things that they do. Listen, us as black people don't do those things, man. Us as black people, we are clean people, man. That dog don't sleep in the bed with us, man. Esau allows that dog to sleep in the bed with them. We don't allow that, man. And that's what you're gonna pick up. Listen, the Lord said you can't pick up that, man. Was he gonna say something?
Yeah,
go ahead.
The East Indian man is cool as well.
Desmond Jadu, yeah. He thinks it's so black. He does. Have you noticed? He thinks it's so black. Mm-hmm. Just because he's got a Jamaican accent, he thinks he's black, man. Listen, man. If that was the case, because I've got a British accent, that would make me white, right? Listen, man. It don't work like that. I don't care what accent you got. If you ain't from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're not one of us. Go ahead.
God. In all manner of service in the field, all their service, wherein they made them serve with rigor.
They made them serve with rigor, man. They make us serve hard bondage. I mean, Just imagine this. That is slavery. You ducking and diving from some Edomite where you know he couldn't tell you nothing outside of this workplace, man. You have to be saying, "Oh, sorry, I'm late." You have to be saying, "Sorry, I'm late." He calls you in the office, giving you disciplinaries. He tells you your days are numbered. Imagine this. He's telling you your days are numbered. And you have to keep your mouth shut because if you lose that job, that's you and your family. Just imagine, man. You're telling me, listen, that's belittling, man. A man that shouldn't be over you telling you what you can and can't do, man. It's horrible to even think about it. Go ahead.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives. Go ahead.
Of which the name of one was Sephora, and the name of the other was Puah.
Go ahead.
And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son.
And now the stools was what? The birthing stools. I believe some women still use what? The stools today. The birthing stools in the pool, and obviously I seen some videos. Some man was in the pool as well. That just looked weird to me. I was thinking, what in the hell is he doing? There's blood everywhere, and he's sitting in the pool. I'm looking at him like, what the hell is he doing? Go ahead. I don't know. We've learned these things during slavery, man. You see a ton of these things that you see black people do. We've learned it along the way in slavery. A black man's in the bath with a woman giving birth. He's in the pool sitting. I don't know, man. Yeah, annoying. Exactly. All of this stuff. Esau does what? Eats the placenta and all of that. That is disgusting, man. Listen, black men don't do those things, man. Black men don't do those things, man. No, placenta is in Leviticus the 11th chapter, man. It ain't in Leviticus the 11th chapter, man. We don't do those things. Go ahead.
If it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
And he says, if it be a what?
If it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
And everybody gets the point, man. From them, they've been trying to kill our sons because they know what? The seed is in the man. They know the seed is in the man. So they want to kill our sons because they know if they could kill off all our and we only have daughters, they could take our daughters and plant their seed in them. Then before you know it, we won't be here as a nation. But this is of the Lord, and this is why after the way they kill us, the way they murder us, the way they enslave us, we're still here, man. Really, in theory, we're not supposed to be here. Do you know how much black people die? In theory, we're not supposed to be here, but because it's of the Lord has us here, man. And they can't understand how the more they kill us, how we're still here. They can't understand how the more they murder us, how we're still here. How the more they throw us in jail, how the more we're still here. Right. And they hate the fact of that, man. They hate the fact that black people are still here, man. Every time you post on Facebook, "Woo, I'm pregnant, I'm giving birth," they hate the person who owns Facebook hates to see that, man. I'm surprised they don't even report the post. They hate to see it, man, because they hate to see black men alive, man. They would rather every black man be dead. They would rather every black man be dead. And black men, you need to understand this. While you pray that they love you, they're praying on you to kill you, man. You're on your knees praying that they love you, and they've got guns praying to kill you, man. There's two different kinds of prayings going on, man. You're praying on your knees to white Jesus in church. Please let my oppressor love me. Please let my oppressor love me. This man's got a gun and praying, saying, you know what? Please let me see a black man around that corner, man. He's saying, please let me see a black man on this corner tonight. Because he wants to blow your brains out, man. That's what he wants to do. You're praying that they love you, and he's praying on you to kill you, man. There's a difference. I mean, black men, we've become what? Too loving and forgiving to these other nations, but we don't have none of that love towards one another. Right. When really we should. Go ahead.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Says, if it be a daughter, then she shall live. So they're saying, kill all the men, because they understood the seed was in the man. Go ahead.
But the midwives feared the Most High.
But the midwives feared the Most High, man. They feared the Most High over the king of Egypt. Same like you need to fear the Most High over the king of Egypt, man. You need to fear the Most High over Boris Johnson. You need to fear the Most High over Sadiq Khan. You need to fear the Most High over the Queen and Prince Philip and Prince Charles and Prince Harry. You need to fear God over them, man. And then maybe then you'll stop hiding, man. Ton of people hiding, saying, "Oh, I agree with what you lot are doing, but while it is my boss at work, and listen, man, forget your boss at work, man. The Lord's your boss, man. He ain't your boss, man. You're supposed to be ruling over him, man. You're saying Esau's your boss. You're meant to be Esau's boss, man. The Lord's your only boss, man. Go ahead.
And did not, as the king of Egypt commanded them.
So the king of Egypt told them what? Kill all the males, man. Kill all the firstborn sons. That's what the king of Egypt said. And they feared God, so they didn't. Go ahead.
But save the men children alive.
And they feared God and didn't kill the firstborn, and they saved the men children alive, meaning they didn't kill them. Go ahead.
And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing?
And he was rough, man. He was angry. He said, why have you done this thing, man? I told you kill them. Why haven't you killed them? Same like every black man that accepts an MB. What is it? MBE from the Queen?
MBE or OBE.
OBE or MBE. Same every black man that accepts an MBE or OBE from the Queen. What happens? They start to believe that they're not black no more, man.
Right.
They start to believe, once they touch the award like this, they start to believe the change color, man. They start to believe the change nation. Go ahead.
He saved the men children. Why have you done this thing and saved the men children alive? And the midwife said to Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as Egyptian women.
Says because the Hebrew women are not as Egyptian women, man. Go ahead.
God. For they are lively.
For they are lively. What does that mean? Now, in context, this is talking about what? The Hebrew women ain't like the Egyptian women, for they are lively. Lively means what? The Hebrew women gave birth quick, man. The Hebrew women went into labor and gave birth quick. We wasn't like Esau in labor for 32 hours, oohing and ahhing, screaming on the sofa. We wasn't like these Africans in labor for 5 weeks. The Hebrew women were lively, man. That labor comes, that baby's out within a few hours, man. That's what it means when it talks about the Hebrew women are lively, meaning they gave birth quick, man. Their womb was working and everything. Go ahead.
And are delivered, and are delivered.
And are what?
Delivered.
And this is what it's talking about, man. This is what it says, the lively and are delivered. Go ahead.
The midwives come into.
And listen, man. Our Hebrew women had babies, so they delivered their baby before the midwives even came in. That's what they said. They said they're not like the Egyptian women who are lazy with plates in their lips and them massive gaps in their ears and massive things in their nose, who's in labor for all them hours, man. Go ahead.
Therefore, God dealt well with the midwives.
And listen, because they serve God, God dealt well with the midwives, man. Now, if they serve Pharaoh, guess what? The midwives probably would have ended up dead, man. They probably would have ended up dead. God dealt well with them because they done what they were supposed to. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, because the midwives feared the Most High, that he made them houses.
Go ahead. What verse you at?
22.
Drop that for time's sake. Give me Exodus chapter 6 and verse 5. Give me Exodus 6 and 5. So same thing what was going on in Egypt. You can find it going on right now, man.
Exodus 6 and 5. And I have heard the groaning.
And listen, I've heard what?
The groaning.
Listen, man, the Lord can hear our groaning right now. Most of us are groaning, but some of you love slavery, so some of you ain't groaning, man. Some of you ain't oppressed here, man. Some of you don't. Some of you feel like you ain't being oppressed. Some of you love being oppressed. Some of you love Great Britain. Some of you believe Great Britain is the greatest place on the earth and you wouldn't want to be anywhere else and whatnot. Some of you love it so much. Go ahead.
Are the children of Israel who the Egyptians keep in bondage?
Who the what?
Egyptians keep in bondage.
And in Egypt, we was groaning, man, because we was in bondage. The Lord heard our groaning. You think the Lord don't hear our groaning right now? You think the Lord don't see our tears and our pain and our hurt right now? You think all this, or do you think this greatest tragedy that can happen on the face of the earth, you think God don't know can't see it? You think God don't know what happened with slavery and them slave ships? You think God don't know that his people's in a land which ain't theirs, being enslaved, serving the other nation, being ruled over with rigor? You think God don't see these things?
Right.
God does see these things, man. But we ain't taught that God sees these things. We taught that what? None of this stuff matters. We taught that that's in the past. No, man, it's not in the past, man, because it's still happening. How are you telling me it's in the past when black men are still getting shot to death, man? Right. How are you telling me it's in the past when black men are still getting 30 years in jail? That don't sound like the past to me. Go ahead.
And I will remember my covenant. Wherefore, says the...
And listen, man, the Lord said he's going to remember his covenant. Which, black man, this should give you hope right now, man, because the Lord's going to remember his covenant again, man. The Lord's going to remember his covenant that he made with us. You think what? Our life is just to be a slave. Nah, man, we ain't gonna be in England forever. We need to serve God, and God's coming to take us out of this hellhole, man. God's coming to save us out of this hellhole, man. Go ahead.
Wherefore, say unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burden.
Hold on, I'll bring you up.
Out from under the burden.
And listen, man, the Lord is about to bring us out from under the burdens again, man. The Lord is about to bring us out from under the burdens again. Same thing that was happening in Egypt is happening in right now, man. Go ahead.
Out of the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage.
And he's going to rid us out of their bondage, and we're going to be rid out of these lots' bondage. Go ahead.
And I will redeem you.
And I will what?
Redeem you.
Huh? You think God's forgot about us? Nah, man. Those Israelites in Egypt also thought God forgot about them also, man. But God said what?
I will redeem you.
Listen, man, God said, I will redeem you, man. Go ahead.
With a stretched out arm.
With a stretched out arm, man. And you know how the Lord redeemed us? By destroying them Egyptians, man. And this oppressor right now has done worse than the Egyptians. How do you think the Lord's going to redeem us this time, man? The Lord's going to redeem us with chariots and fire. And there's going to be tons of bloodshed, man. There's going to be tons of bloodshed for what they've done to God's people, man. Because God ain't forgot about the slavery of his people. God ain't forgot about the rape, the robberies, and the murders. God ain't forgot about them slave ships and all them lynchings,
right,
and all those people who had their arms cut off and their nose cut off and their legs cut off. God ain't forgot about that, man. And there's going to be some payback for it, man. The Lord's going to redeem us with a stretched out arm. And that should be a day that every Black and Hispanic is looking forward to. The day where you don't have to wake up and do a 9 to 5 no more, man. A day where you don't have to be thrown in jail no more, man. A day where you don't have to worry about being pulled over by a cop and shot to death no more, man. The Lord's going to redeem us from this hellhole right now. Go ahead.
And with great judgments.
And with what?
Great judgments.
Listen, when the Lord redeems us, he's going to redeem us with great judgments, man. He's going to burn this place with fire and brimstone, man. Because our oppressor has done nothing but evil to us. And the Lord's going to show him who's in charge, man. It would be like if you've got a son. Imagine you've got a son and you go away for a bit and the neighbors start to abuse your son, start to beat your son up, to hide your son in the basement. Your son dies one day, but he's got kids. Those kids is living in the basement when really those sons is meant to be living in the house, man. But those sons is hid in the basement. And then they believe that it's their whole future to be in the basement. What's going to happen when your dad comes back and he opens his front door and sees the oppressor sitting on the couch, drinking his beer out the fridge, eating all the food, and he's going to be like, hold on, where's my son? And he sees that his kids is tied down in the basement. What do you think he's going to do to that neighbor? You know who that neighbor is? That's Esau, man. And God is our father that's going to come back and see all of this, man, and destroy them, man. We those people living in the basement right now when we should be living in the house. We those people working on the field when we should have people working on the field for us, man.
Right.
Roles have been switched, and the Lord's going to come and redeem us, man, with a stretched out arm. Go ahead.
And I will take you. Stop here. And I will take you to me for a people.
And I will what?
Take you for me a people.
And the Lord's going to take us to him as a people, man. The Lord's going to take us to him as a people. We listen, we're no longer going to be scrubs. We're not going to be scrubs no more. See them TLC songs. Listen, the Lord's going to take us for a people, man. We're no longer going to be scrubs. We're no longer going to be deadbeats. We're no longer going to be all this other nonsense that they call us. We're no longer going to be those things. Listen, you know what? We no longer. What else do they call us? We're no longer going to be criminals, drug dealers. The Lord's going to take us for a people, man, and we're going to know that we're the children of Israel, the Israelites. In that day, ain't nobody going to be calling us deadbeats, calling us scrubs, calling us good for nothing, calling us lazy, calling us gollywogs. Listen, the Lord's going to take us for a people, man. Go ahead.
And I will be to you a God.
And I will what?
Be to you a God.
And listen, man. The Lord's going to be to us a God, man. You don't need to look for Esau to be your God. You don't need to look for Caesar Borgia to be your God. You don't need to look to some stone in Mecca, man. You don't need to look to some stone in Mecca to be your God, because we have the God of the Bible, man. The God of blacks and Hispanics, man. The God only of us, who isn't the God of everybody, man. Go ahead.
Which bringeth you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians.
Which bringeth you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And the Lord's going to bring us out from under the burdens of our oppressors, man. No more. See, the time's coming where a black man ain't going to be nobody's slave no more, man. where a black man ain't gonna be living from wage to wage, where a black man ain't gonna be criminalized and victimized and shot by the cops and lynched and so forth, man. The time's coming where none of that's gonna happen. The time's coming when none of that's gonna happen. But what we have to do in order for that to happen is what? Stop smoking weed, man. Stop being whores, pimps, drug dealers, criminals. That's all we have to do. And this place will fall tomorrow, man. Once we do that, this place will fall tomorrow. Go ahead.
And I will bring you into the land.
And listen, the Lord's going to bring us into the land, man. Now, back in Egypt, the Lord told us what He was going to bring us into the land. And what we went into the land, but obviously we disobeyed God. And guess what happened? We ended up jumping on a slave ship to the Caribbean, and then from there all over. Go ahead.
Concerning the which I did swear to give to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob.
And you see that same land which they're fighting over right now, the same land which the Arabs and these fake Jews is fighting over, that land really belongs to us, man. And the Lord is going to take us there, man. The Lord is going to take us back there, and we're going to have slaves, man. You see, the same way we've been everybody's slaves. Everybody has to be our slaves. You're talking about that was in the past. Nah, man. How about you be my slave, and I'm gonna tell you it was in the past. When you're my slave, I'll tell you it's in the past. Go ahead.
And I will give it you for a heritage. I am the Most High.
Go ahead.
And Moses spake so unto the children of Israel.
So now Moses went to the children of Israel, and Moses spoke these words to them, man. What the Lord said to him. Go ahead.
But they hearkened not unto Moses.
But they didn't listen to Moses. Go ahead.
For the anguish of spirit.
And listen, man, these people were so beat down, man. So used to being in slavery. So used to being at the bottom. So used to brick and mortar. So used to picking cotton, sugar cane on the field. Same thing happening now. They hearken not. Like most people don't hearken to us when we tell them, you know what, you're the greatest people on the face of the earth. You know why? Because their spirit is broken in this place, man. Their spirit is broken in this place. They've been beat down in this place. Go ahead.
That's deep. I don't think it's like the people like this. They blame black people. Listen, you're wicked. Really, it's not. That's broken.
Exactly.
They don't blame the white. They say that we blame the white man for everything, or all the white man, the white man.
Exactly.
And the real problem is our people's wicked. But the Bible saying they're not wicked, they're just broken.
Exactly. Our people's broken, man, and their spirit is broken. So you telling them, listen, God only cares about blacks and Hispanics. Obviously, they don't know no better. All they see is, I'm a slave. I'm meant to be dead before 25. So for the most part, they're not going to listen because their spirit is broken, man. They're being oppressed, working sun up to sundown. Their life is hell. Their life is miserable. They got a woman that's put them on child support. They got kids that they can't see. Their life is upside down. So they're broken, man. So when you come and tell them all of these things, they're not going to listen. Go ahead.
And for cruel bondage.
And what?
For cruel bondage.
And their spirit is broken because of this cruel bondage, man. Their spirit's broken because of this cruel bondage, man. Because of all of this slavery, all of this oppression, all of this hard work. I mean, who wouldn't be broken, man? Who wouldn't be broken? Go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Go in, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land.
And the Lord said, listen, man, go to Pharaoh and tell him, let the people go out of his land. That'd be like what? Today, speaking to Boris Johnson, Sadiq Khan, and whoever else is in charge of the UK, the Queen and so forth. But like you going to Buckingham Palace, go ahead. Listen, what you got to remember is Moses was a black man, you know. Imagine, look at it today. Like, imagine a black man going to the Queen saying, yo, you need to free black people, man. Let black people go. Everyone be looking at him like, this nigga's crazy. Moses did that, man. Moses done that. Go ahead.
And Moses spake before the Lord, saying, Behold, the children of Israel have not hearkened.
And Moses said, you know what? The children of Israel didn't listen to me. But for time's sake, we're going to just give me Romans 11:4 for time's sake. But the reason the children of Israel didn't listen is because what? They're broken, man. And this is why it's our job to fix our people, to give them the spirit of the Lord back, man. They've been beat down for so long that slavery is all they know. Oppression's all they know. Being a good slave is all they know. Our people don't know what it's like to be free. Black people don't know what it's like to be free. Black people only know what it's like to serve, man. Black people only know what it's like to serve. Actually, it's lucky. Before you get Romans 11, give me that scripture. It goes, they wanted to go back to Egypt. I can't remember where it is. Where it said they wanted to go back to Egypt. Not which one I'm talking about. They made it, what is it? They made it, I think they set rulers over them to go back into Egypt.
Try Numbers 14 and 4.
Try, is it that one? See if it's that one. It probably is that one. I think it probably is that one, you know. So I'm going to show you something, man. That black people are so broken. Go ahead.
Numbers 14 and 4. And they said one to another, let us make a captain and let us return to Egypt.
They said what?
Let us make a captain and let us return to Egypt.
And listen, you know why they said that? Because black people is so used to not being free that if you did free black people, they wouldn't know what to do, man. You free black people, they wouldn't know what to do. They only know how to what? Rely on their oppressors, man. Their whole life was being a good slave. So they said, you know what? Let us go back to Egypt. They'd rather be a slave than be free, man. They couldn't function outside of being a slave because they've been a slave for that long. That's black people today. Black people believe that they can't function without Esau. They believe they can't function without Esau, man. Go ahead.
Even today, if we got all black people in the wilderness, they're like, oh, I want to go back, man. You know?
Exactly. It was easier.
we had a Tesco, man.
Exactly.
We had a merch selection. What?
Exactly. They'll be like, oh, back in England, we had this. All we had to do was just go to work. It wasn't that bad. All we had to do is work. Listen, it's because black people ain't used to being free people, man. We used to what? Relying on our oppressor. So when you try and free black people, they get angry at you, man. And this is why at camp, go ahead. Right, exactly. Exactly right. So now you try and free black people, they get angry, man. And this is why when we blaze in that camp, what happens when we blaze in that camp? Our own people come up against us, man. Our own people come up against us, talking about, why are you talking like that? It's not all of them, it's some of them. Because black people ain't used to be being free, man. Black people ain't used to freedom. Black people ain't used to what? Being governed by themselves. Black people are just used to what? Being a good slave. Because imagine from the time you've been born, you've just been a slave. You just see your whole life as being somebody else's slave, man. Listen, if our oppressors fought like that, then we would be closer to equal. But this is how our oppressors think. They understand in order for us not to be equal, they need to have slaves, man. Because they don't want equality. We want equality, but they don't want to be equal, man. Listen, in UPK, we don't want to be equal with our slave master. We want to be better than our slave master, man. All of this being equal with your slave master don't make no sense. I mean, if we're all equal, who's going to cut my grass, man? Listen, I'm gonna have them cutting my grass in the rain. If they get electrocuted, so lucky, I'll just borrow one of the other brother slaves to finish it off. But I'll go ahead. Was that it? Give me Romans 11 and 1. We just happy to be everybody's slaves, whereas Esau is happy for everyone to be his slaves. He understands something that we don't, man. He understands that he wants to be able to put his feet up and not want to lift a finger. He understands that he wants to make everybody work for him. He understands that he don't want to work for nobody. But with us, why is it that we have to work for everybody? Why is it that we have to be everybody's slaves? Go ahead.
No nation wants to another nation.
Exactly. Except us. Exactly.
Somalis come yesterday and already like Somali shops. And the Polish one come yesterday already at the Polish shops.
Exactly. Exactly.
The
Polski, something like that.
Black,
exactly. Exactly. We're just comfortable living in the ghetto, having no shops, having nothing. We're just comfortable to go make Esau rich. We're just happy for what? How much do you average person pick them up? About $1,000 and a bit, about $1,500. $1,500 if you're lucky. And once you deduct the bills, you're down to £300 for the month. And then if you're a woman, once you buy your hair and your nails and your eyelashes, you got £50 left for the month. So you look all beautiful on the outside, but there's no foods in the cupboard and whatnot. We're just happy to live like that. We're just happy to live like that in this place when really, listen, that's no life, man. Go ahead.
God. Romans 11:1. I say again, have God cast away his people?
Have God cast away his people, man? Have God forgot about his people? Because black man, you need to hear this, man. Because we think that God's forgot about us. We think we're in some horrible conditions and nobody cares. We think nobody sees our pain. We think nobody sees our struggles. We think nobody sees our blood, sweat, and tears that's been shed in this place, man. In this hellhole called Great Britain, which ain't great for black people, man. It's hell for black people, man. This is hell Britain for us. Go ahead.
God forbid.
God forbid, man. Has God cast away his people? That means hell no, man. God ain't cast away his people. Go ahead.
For I also am an Israelite.
For what?
I also am an Israelite.
Paul said he's also an Israelite, man. Paul said, no, God ain't cast away his people. Because Paul's an Israelite, man. And God was dealing with Paul, man. Which means God ain't cast away his people. Go ahead.
Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
And Paul was a Benjamite, man. Go ahead.
God has not cast away his people, which he foreknew.
Listen, God ain't cast away his people, which he foreknew, man. God ain't cast us away. And God's going to redeem us with a stretched out arm, man, because he ain't cast us away. God sees what we're going through, man. The time's coming. Go ahead.
God, what ye know not, what ye not what the scripture has said of Isaiah, how he maketh intercession to God against Israel, saying.
So he made intercession to God against Israel, saying, this is Isaiah. Go ahead. It says Isaiah because that is what Greek for Isaiah. Go ahead.
Lord, that they have killed the prophets.
And he said, what? Lord, they have killed the prophets. Because what? Back in the day, what we used to do is kill the prophets, man. We didn't want to hear what they were saying. We didn't want to listen to them. We didn't want them telling us, you can be saved, change your life, repent, change. We didn't want to hear none of that, man. So we used to kill the prophets. Go ahead.
And dig down thine altars.
And broke down the altars. Go ahead.
And I am left alone, and they seek my life.
And Isaiah said, look, man, I'm left alone and they seek my life. Go ahead.
But what saith the answer of God unto
And
him?
what was the answer of God to Isaiah when Isaiah said that to him? Go ahead.
I reserve to myself 7,000 men.
I have what?
Reserved to myself 7,000 men.
Listen, man. The Lord reserved thousands of men in the I.S.U.P.K, man. The Lord reserved men in the I.S.U.P.K. They ain't going to go to no LGBT march, man. They ain't going to go to no brothel with a transvestite, man. Right. They ain't going to allow some African man in their organization, man. They ain't going to put on all white and marry white women, man. Right. They ain't going to read the book of Enoch and Jubilees and all this nonsense, man. The Lord reserved righteous men, man. They ain't going to do those things. The Lord reserved men that ain't going to teach us okay to rape, man. The Lord reserved righteous men. Go ahead.
Who have not bowed the knee.
Who have what?
Not bowed the knee.
The Lord reserved righteous men who ain't bowed the knee, man. The Lord reserved righteous men who ain't ran to the mosque, man. Who ain't put on a kufi. Who ain't put red in their beard. Who ain't put on that silly, stupid little thing to wear. Who ain't chewing on them stupid sticks that they say cleans your teeth, but all these East Indians' breath smells like garbage. You therefore don't clean your teeth. That's a damn lie. Just tastes like they pulled something off the tree and they're chewing it. That's what it tastes. That's what it looks like to me. Pulled some wood off the tree and chewing it, talking about it cleans your teeth. The Lord reserved, man. They ain't gonna put a mendi. They ain't gonna put a bindi in their forehead, man. The Lord reserved righteous men. They ain't gonna do those things. Go ahead.
To the image of Baal.
The Lord reserved, man. They ain't gonna bow, man. They ain't gonna compromise their ways, man. Men that ain't willing to be a slave, man. Men that are fighting for freedom, man. Men that are going to stand up and go in the corner, man. Men that are going to tell this oppressor that he's the devil the Bible speaks of, man. Men that are going to tell him his time's short and soon he's going into slavery. The Lord's reserved men who's going to do those things, man. The Lord's reserved men who's going to do these things. Go ahead.
Even so, then, at this present time also, there is a remnant.
At this what?
Present time also.
Right now, at this present time also, man, there's a remnant of men that's going to stand up for God, man. Men that's going to stand up for righteousness. Men that's going to stand up and fight how a black man should, man. Men that's willing to lose their life for other black men, man. There's men reserved like that today. And you find them right here in the UPK. Go ahead.
Right. According to the election of grace, More?
Anyone that is that about it? I think
Yeah.
that's, give me Revelations chapter 3 and verse 9. There's men reserved, man, and God ain't cast away his people, man. God hasn't cast away his people. I don't care what you've been told, you've been lied to, man. You thinking God don't care about you. You thinking God hates you because the Mormons said what? Being black is a curse. Is that to say? The Mormons say being black's a curse. The Mormons tell you being black's a curse. Because what in Islam they say what? The black man was a slave and so forth. Listen, man, I don't care what they say. God cares about you and you only, man. God hasn't forgot about you. Go ahead.
Revelations what?
3 and 9.
3 and 9. Behold, I will make them as the synagogue of Satan. We say they are Jews.
And the Lord said, those of the synagogue of Satan, man. A synagogue is the house of Satan, man. Go ahead.
But are not.
We say they are Jews, man. Now, these people have what? Stole our identity. And they're pretending to us. They're walking around in the land right now, pretending to us. Walking around in their silly hats. Pretending to us. People swear blind. They're the real Jews. Everybody swear blind. They're the people of God. Everybody feels sorry for them. Oh, he's Jewish. He's anti-Semitic. Listen, man. It's anti-Semitic. Listen, nobody's been treated worse than black people on the face of the earth, man. It's anti-nigger-ick, man, when you kill black people, man. Anti-nigger-ick, if it even makes sense, man. It's anti-nigger-ick when you throw black men in jail for 30 years, man. But anti-Semitic. Listen, man. All these nations is anti-niggers, but there's nothing called anti-niggers because it's just normal to kill a black man. It's just normal to throw a black man in jail. But a Jewish man gets to cry like a baby. Boo-hoo, he went in the oven. He went in the oven. He went in the oven and he cries and he gets a land. He gets a whole land because they put him in the oven. What about the black people that crossed the ocean under terrible conditions, man? What about black people who got thrown overboard, man? What about black people who had their limbs cut off? What about black people who put cotton and made this whole entire world rich? What do we get? A zebra crossing, man. This Jewish man got a whole country. He got a whole country just because he went in the oven. And then what do we get? Just a zebra crossing in Greenwich for Black History Month. All we get is a zebra crossing and he gets to cry his eyes out and he gets a whole land, man. It's just like, how do I pronounce it? What is it? Greenwich or whatever it is. We get a zebra crossing, man. And this man gets this whole land. He gets a whole land, a whole country. Listen, what they do to us is anti-nigger-ick, man. So lucky, the way they kill us, it's anti-Semitic to say something bad about the Jews. Ain't it anti-nigger-ick to kill a black man? Ain't it anti-nigger-ick to throw a black man in jail? Ain't it anti-nigger-ick to put a black man on the plantation and make him pick cotton and sugarcane? Listen, man, that should be in the dictionary. Listen, people should be charged for being what? Anti-nigger-ick, man. Same way you can be charged for being anti-Semitic. If you're anti-niggers, you should be charged too, man. Because what they do to us is a lot worse than anybody does to any Jewish man. Read that from the top.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, them fake Jews, man, that cry like babies and got a whole land. Talk about, 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. Meanwhile, we must forget about our slavery, man. We must forget about our pain. We must forget about everything that we've been through. Go ahead.
We say they are Jews and are
We
not.
say they are Jews and are not, man. They claim the Jews, but they ain't Jews, man. You know why they ain't Jews? Because they don't descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. They ain't Jews, man. Go ahead.
Which are but do lie.
And they liars, man. Go ahead.
Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet.
Listen, man. The Lord's going to make them come and bow before our feet, man. The Lord's going to make them come and bow before our feet. Because all this time, we thinking God hates us. All this time, we thinking God can't stand us. God don't care about us. God's for... pass it. No, no, sir, I got one. Yeah, I got one. Yes, no, sir. No, sir. So all the time, we thinking God hates us and don't care about us. These devils is lying, pretending that they're us, man. All the love that God's got towards us, they're pretending that God's got that love towards them. And we thinking God hates us when God really hates them, man. All this time they've lied to us. They've belittled us. treated us like garbage, man. And God's gonna make Christ is gonna make them come and bow down before our feet, man. They're gonna bow down before our feet, man, for all the lies they've told, for all the lies they've spread, for all the bondage, for all the slavery, for all the evil, man. From there, we're gonna go to Malachi chapter 1 and verse 1. Give me 1 second. The book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 1. The burden of the Lord, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. So the Lord saying, I have loved you, man. The Lord saying He's loved black and Hispanics. It says, yet ye say. So it says, yet ye say, meaning, this is what we say. Wherein has thou loved us? Because what we're asking, all right, when have you loved us? Because what it seems like we've been treated bad for so long. We've been enslaved for so long. We've been in hell for so long. We've been going through nonsense for so long. So we asking, when have you loved us? The Bible says, was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob and I hated Esau. And the Lord saying He loves us, man, because He loves our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But He hated Esau, man. And the Lord hates him until this day. Because this man is what? A liar, a murderer. This man has to kill. You see how you need to eat food to survive? This man needs to eat. He needs to kill to live, man. He needs to kill to survive, man. He just can't stop killing. Everything he does is murder, 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 murder. He can't help himself, man. Everything he does is murder and kill and imprison and enslave. That's what he loves, man. That's what gets him by. That's the only thing that gets him by is murdering, murdering, murdering. And it gets him by murdering black people, man. He needs to murder black people to feel good. He needs to murder black people. And it makes his day. Now we're going to go to Baruch chapter 4 and verse 6. The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 6. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. So hold on. We were sold to the nations, not for our destruction. But now that we're here, we're being destroyed by them, man. They're killing us with drugs. They're forcing black on black crime on us. They're forcing all these criminal activities on us. They're forcing jail on us, all kind of nonsense on us. The Lord said you were sold to the nations, not through destruction, but because you moved God to wrath. So we were sold to the nations because what? We was disobedient to God. Now, they was never meant to treat us the way they treated us, man. They was never meant to treat us how they treated us, but they went overboard. We weren't supposed to be being destroyed by them. It says, you were delivered unto the enemies, for you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to God. And this is why we're being destroyed, man. And this is why we're in slavery, because what? We would rather sacrifice unto devils, meaning what? We would rather worship idols, man. We would rather worship Allah, which is a stone. We would rather worship a Christian cross. We would rather do all of that nonsense. We would rather be Seventh-day Adventist. We would rather be Seventh-day Adventist. We would rather be what? Go to the Baptist church. We would rather talk in tongues. We'd rather go church on a Sunday and talk in tongues when really you're just talking nonsense, man. That's what we would rather do than serve God. So why would God redeem us when if He did redeem us, we're just going to give the glory to somebody else like we did in the past? The Lord redeemed us out of Egypt, and what did we do? Went and gave all the glory to a calf, man. Broke off our earrings, made a golden calf and danced around and said, oh, these is the gods that delivered us out of Egypt. Why would the Lord deliver us if that's what we're going to do, man? You need to come back to your maker, man. You need to come back to the God of the Bible, man. That's who we need to come back to. As long as we're doing what we're doing, being drug dealers and criminals, we're going to continue to catch hell in England, continue to catch hell in Jamaica, Trinidad, America, Brazil, Puerto Rico, everywhere we are, man. We're going to continue to catch hell in them places. You were delivered unto the enemies, for you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to God. Ye have forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. For when she saw the wrath of God coming upon you, she said, hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion. God hath brought upon me great mourning. For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. Says, for I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, man. And what our motherland, man, when we left our motherland, man, we were supposed to be there. Now our motherland is what? Desolate of what? Desolate of the people that's supposed to be there. It's desolate of the people that's supposed to be there, man. Verse 11, Baruch chapter 4, verse 11.
Baruch 4 and 11. With joy did I nourish them.
Listen, man, in that land we was nourished. That was a land which flows with milk and honey, man. That land was the most fertile land. Anybody can look it up. That land was what the best for everything. That land is the best for everything. That land is the glory of all lands. It tells you that in the Bible, that this is the glory of all lands. So that land is the glory of all lands. And this is why every single nation is fighting over it right now. You got the Arabs fighting over it, trying to say it belongs to them. You got the white Jews fighting over it, saying it belongs to them. And the real people who the land belongs to just want to smoke weed. The real people who the land belongs to just wants to smoke drugs. The real people who the land belongs to wants to fight over a postcode in Newtown, in Aston, in Handsworth. Want to fight over a postcode in Brixton and in Peckham. The real people who the land belongs to, that's what we want to fight over. Meanwhile, these other nations is fighting over the land which is the glory of all lands. Go ahead.
But send them away with weeping and mourning.
And listen, man, we've been sent away with weeping and mourning. We weeping and mourning right now, man. We in slavery, weeping and mourning. We had the best land, and guess what? Now we in England, where you catch the flu every week, man. England, where you catch mumps and foot and mouth and every other disease, man. Every other disease which has recently come out. Apparently, foot and mouth has come back around now. Mumps has came back around, which is a old disease where your face swells up on one side, and your glands is trying to fight it, so your face swells up. The doctor said what? He's seen more cases of mumps in the last week than he's seen in the last 20 years. Now we're in a place which is riddled with diseases, man. A place which is riddled with diseases. Now foot and mouth diseases come back, and the symptoms is what? Where you have is it spots on your tongue, and the kids have it on the spots on their tongue and the inside of their mouth. Now foot and no, is it mad cow disease? See, there's so much here. Is foot and mouth and mad cow disease the same thing? Got two different things. Listen, man, there's some. It's mad cow disease. It's one of them which just came back around. Then I believe it's foot and mouth. So now we're in a place with every disease. Foot and mouth disease. You think we'd be getting those things if it was back home in the land of Israel? Foot and mouth disease, mad cow disease, swine flu. Listen, man. Now we're in a place riddled with diseases. Now, man, we in a land where we're weeping and mourning, man. Whereas before we was in the land which is the glory of all lands. Go ahead.
Let no man rejoice over me.
Let no man rejoice over me, meaning what? Now these other nations have rejoiced. Now they're happy that what? The real people ain't in the land. Rejoice means to be happy. Go ahead. And these other nations have rejoiced over us going into slavery, man. It tells you that in Revelations, they rejoiced over us being slaves, man. They rejoice when we kill one another. They rejoice when we have no brotherhood. They rejoice over those things. Go ahead.
A widow and forsaken of many.
A widow and forsaken of many. Go ahead.
For the sins of my children I'm left desolate.
And for our sins, the land was left desolate, meaning what? Desolate of us, man. We got kicked out of the land because of our sins, because of the evil we wanted to do, because of the wickedness that we wanted to do. Go ahead.
Because they departed from the law of God.
And the main reason is what? Because we departed from the law of God. Now, Esau will tell you what, oh yeah, you was just swinging from trees, and you was in Africa somewhere swinging from trees. You're monkeys, and you're just swinging from trees. Listen, man, the only reason we in slavery is because we departed from the laws of God. God gave us laws, man, so we won't be like the other nations. The Bible says what? The Lord gave us the laws, and the other nations should see us, and this should be our wisdom in the sight of the other nations. And the other nations were supposed to see us and be like, who's wise like them? Meaning what? The Chinese are supposed to see us and be like, you know what? those black people they don't eat cat and dog, the wise man. They're supposed to see us and be like, black people don't eat cat and dog, the wise man. They're supposed to see us, the Arabs are supposed to see us and be like, what? Black people don't have sex with their brother and sister and uncles and aunties and father and mother and so forth. They're supposed to see us and be like, that's a wise people, man. But now, obviously, what we do now is very far from wise, man. Go ahead. Africans are supposed to see us and supposed to be like, those people take baths, man. They're wise people. Those people spray deodorant, man. Those people smell nice, man. And you know how you know we spray deodorant and smell nice? Because the sister brought Yahushua an alabaster box of oil, man. She brought him an alabaster box of oil, man, which is perfume, man. And the reason it's in the alabaster box back then is because what? That preserves the smell. So you see what you're smelling right now? It ain't got nothing on what that lady poured on Yahushua, man. That was the real pure fragrance, not what I.S.U.P.K gives you now, everything watered down with a million different ingredients in the back. What they had was back then was pure, man. That came in an alabaster box of oil that keeps the smell in and so forth. That's how you know we're a nation that's always like to smell nice, like to smell fresh. You see, like every man likes what the smell. Is it Savage? Savage. Every black man likes Savage. What other ones is they? Paco Rabanne. That's an Asian man fragrance now. Every Asian you know owns 1 million to where black men don't even wear it no more. Every black man likes Savage. Listen, Savage ain't got nothing on what Yahushua had on. Ain't got nothing on it, man. Ain't got nothing on what they had on, man. Go ahead.
Time. They knew not his statutes.
They knew not his statutes, man. Go ahead.
Nor walked in his ways.
Nor walked in his ways. The Lord was telling us to do one thing. We decided what we want to do, whatever we want. We want to go do something else. We want to do our own thing. Go ahead.
Of his commandments, nor trod in his path.
Nor trod in his path, man. Go ahead.
Of discipline.
We didn't want discipline, man. Like now, most people don't want to come into UPK because they don't want what? Discipline. Discipline is the main thing. You come in here, you have to have discipline. You have to understand the man that's ranked over you and gives you an order. You have to carry it out. You have to use your sirs. You have to call him sir. Canada one can. You have to follow orders. There's a ranking system order. Most people don't want to do that, man. That right there is discipline. Most people don't want discipline. Most men believe I'm a grown man. Why am I listening to another man's instructions? Because those people don't want discipline. Same like back then, we didn't want to listen to the Lord. We didn't want to listen to his instructions. Go ahead. And this is why so many people leave the school, because they got no discipline, man. Go ahead.
Nor trod in the path of discipline, in righteousness. Let them that dwell in Zion come and remember ye the captivity of the sons and daughters which the everlasting have brought upon them.
Go ahead.
For he have brought a nation upon them from far.
A nation upon them from far, man. This nation came from far from us, man. What did it was so far that it was a voyage. A voyage means what? A long trip, right? A voyage means a long trip, man. A long trip by ship. It means definitely means long trip. Voyage means a long journey, basically. So listen, they came from so far that they had to take a long journey, man. Go ahead.
A shameless nation.
A shameless nation, man. This nation ruling over us is a shameless nation, man. A shameless nation, man. Everybody knows that their women is whores. Listen, and this is why these East Indian men do what? Just pick them up and just treat them like a piece of meat and take them from the club and do whatever with them. Go ahead.
And of a strange language.
And of a strange language. They came speaking a language we didn't know, man. They came speaking a language we didn't know. Now, first when the Taino Indians was in Jamaica, what? The Spanish men came what? Speaking Spanish, man. That's why in Jamaica you have places called De La Vega, Montego Bay, what's the next one? Negril, Spanish Town. And Spanish Town used to be the capital, man. And obviously the British came, took it over. And this is why we speak English. Now, if the Spanish still kept rule over Jamaica, if they didn't lose it in what was it, 1555, I believe it was 1555. The British took over in 1555. And then obviously we came over in what, the 1600s. So at the time the Tainos was there. So basically, if the Spanish still ruled over it, we would be speaking Spanish right now, man. We would be a Spanish colony right now, whereas the British took it over, so we became an English colony. Whereas you are just whatever your slave master is. That's how it works out. Whatever your slave master is, that's what you become. Your slave master speaks whatever language, you speak that language. Go ahead.
Third, who neither reverence old man.
Neither reverence old man, meaning they will kill an old man. They will put an old man on the cotton field. They will whip an old man's back. They will cut off an old man's leg. They will cut off an old man's arm. Go ahead.
No pity child.
No pity child, man. That's why they will kill your babies, man. They will kill your babies because they don't care about a child. They don't look and say, oh, this baby is innocent, it's so cute, which is the next thing. When we see Esau's babies, what do we say? Oh, it's just a baby. You can't call that baby the devil. It's just a baby. Listen, man, what did he say about Esau? He don't what?
No pity child.
Listen, man, he ain't saying that your black babies is cute and innocent. He sees them as commodity. He sees them as this nigga's going on the cotton field, man. That's what he sees them as. He don't see them as, oh, they're just a baby. They're too young to work. They're too young to pick cotton. Meanwhile, you're saying, oh, this child, this Edomite baby is so cute. Listen, man. Once upon a, you see that police officer that shot Mark Duggan dead in the street? Once upon a time, that was a cute Edomite baby too, man. Look what he's gone and done now. Killed a black man, man. You see your slave master? Once upon a time, he was a cute Edomite baby, man. You see the man driving that slave ship? Once upon a time, he was a cute Edomite baby, man.
Right.
You see that man throwing you in jail? Once upon a time, he was a cute Edomite baby. You see that man that's the judge that's giving you 30 years in jail? Once upon a time, he was a cute Edomite baby.
Right.
And this is why every Edomite, whether man, woman, or child, we say that the devil the Bible speaks of, man. Because once they're going to grow up one day, man, and they ain't so cute when they're putting you in handcuffs, are they?
Right.
They ain't so cute when they shoot your son dead in the street, are they? They ain't so cute when the what? Send your daughter to be a stripper in the strip club. They ain't so cute when what? They're phoning you about child support, telling you if you don't pay it, we're going to revoke your driving license. We're going to take your car off you. They ain't so cute then. But you want to look at these babies and say, oh, that baby's so cute. No, man, that baby's a devil that's going to make your life hell in the future, man.
Right.
And it's going to make your children's life hell in the future. If you look at their babies like that, that makes you a wise man. You need to look at their babies like that. Because they look at your babies like your baby's just good for picking cotton. Right. They don't say your baby's cute. This is what they say. Oh, your baby's just going to grow up to be a thief and a criminal. Your baby's just going to grow up to be a thief, a criminal, a robber, and a murderer. That's what they say. Go ahead.
Yeah, like Sean Charles was like 60 years old.
Exactly. He went. Exactly. Exactly.
And they care.
Exactly. They shoved their fingers down his, tried to pull his windpipe out. He how did I choke to death? He choked to death, man. I'm sure that he choked to death, man. They said that he had drugs. Guess what? The autopsy came back that he didn't have no drugs on him. What are you going to say to the family? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry ain't going to bring Rashawn Charles back. Sorry ain't going to bring their beloved son back. What's sorry, man? You giving people money, paying out a settlement. That settlement, that ain't going to bring their child back, man. Do you know how painful it is to lose a child? That ain't bring their child back, man. You saying, oh, I'm sorry. What is, oh, I'm sorry going to change, man? Oh, I'm sorry, don't fix a damn thing, man. You saying, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, don't fix nothing, man. Read on.
Verse 16. These have carried away the dear beloved children.
Hold on, they did what?
Carried away the dear beloved children.
Listen, man. If they thought our babies was cute, they would have said, you know what? We're not going to take the babies into slavery. Let's just take the adults. They didn't look at it that way. They took everything, man. Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. They wanted everything, man. They took it, man. Enslaved us. Go ahead.
The dear beloved
And listen,
children.
we the dear beloved children of God, man. And they took something which belongs to God. They ill-treated something that belongs to God. Go ahead.
Of the widow, and left her that was alone, desolate.
And they left our land desolate, man. Go ahead.
Without daughters. But what can I help you? For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies.
And listen, it says, he that brought these plagues upon us will deliver us from the hands of our enemies. Meaning, we're coming out of England one day, we're coming out of America one day, we're coming out of Jamaica one day, we're coming out of Trinidad one day. We're going to be delivered out of the hands of our enemies, man. Go ahead. Because we're in their hands. They've got a tight grasp on us. You need to then fill out a visa when you want to fly somewhere, and they're telling you whether they're going to refuse your entry to the country or not. Go ahead.
Go your way, O my children. Go your way, for I am desolate. I have put off the clothing of peace, and put upon me the sackcloth of my prayer.
Go ahead.
I cry unto the everlasting in my days. Be of good cheer, O my children. Cry unto the Most High.
Do what?
Cry unto the Most High.
And it's time for us to cry unto the Most High, man. It's time for us to get in this UPK, this one body, and cry unto the Most High so we can leave this hellhole, man. Read on, I'm going to wrap it up in a bit.
And he shall deliver you from the power of the hand of your enemy.
And he shall what?
Deliver you from the power and the hand of your enemy.
And he's going to deliver us from the power of the hand of our enemies. You see this man as this, you look at this man like his God. You look at this man like he's got all the power on the face of the earth, but the Lord's going to do what?
Deliver you from the power and the hand of your enemies.
He's going to deliver us from our enemies, man. Read on quickly.
For my hope is in the everlasting.
And your hope needs to be in God also. Go ahead.
That he will save you. And joy is come unto me from the Holy One.
And listen, we're going to be saved one day, and joy is come, man. And our joy is going to come. Go ahead.
Because the mercy which shall.
And listen, because the Lord's so merciful to us is the reason why we're still living right now, man. The reason why we're still living right now, because really every last one of us should be dead. Our whole nation should be wiped out. But because the Lord's so merciful is why we're alive right now. Go ahead.
Because the mercy which shall soon come upon you.
Because the mercy which shall soon come upon us, man. No more 9 to 5s, man. I can't wait to that day, man, where I can turn off that alarm, man. Can't wait to turn off that alarm, man. That alarm. We're going to wrap it up for time's sake. I'm done. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, yeah, read on it because there's some more on that. Go ahead.
Because the mercy which shall soon come upon you.
For the mercy which shall soon come upon us, man. We need that mercy. We're the only people on the face of the earth that there's no mercy for us. Go ahead.
From the everlasting, our Savior.
From the everlasting, our Savior, man. And what do saviors do? Save, man. And we're going to be saved from this hellhole. We need saving. Nobody else needs saving. I mean, the best you can get in England for Black History Month is a zebra crossing, man, with Pan-African colors, and we ain't even African, man. That's the best you can get from England. Read on.
For I sent you out with mourning.
For we went out with mourning, man. We went out in chains, tears, yokes of iron. Go ahead.
And weeping.
And weeping, man. You know how much Black people had to cry themselves to sleep when their kids was taken away? You know how many people had to cry themselves to sleep when their legs was being chopped off, while their nose was being chopped off, while they was getting 40 lashes, while they was getting raped by their slave master. Do you know how much Black people was weeping? I don't think you know. Go ahead.
But God will give you to me again with joy.
And listen, man, God's going to give us back to the land of Israel again with joy, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
And gladness forever.
And what?
Gladness forever.
And what?
Gladness forever.
And gladness forever, man. Meaning the tables is going to turn, man. The tables is going to turn. Go ahead.
Like as now, the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity.
And the neighbors of Zion have seen our captivity. You see, all these other nations, they've seen our slavery, man. They've seen our slavery. They've seen everything that we're going through. They've seen all this hell we're going through. Go ahead.
So shall they see shortly your salvation.
So they're going to see what?
Shortly your salvation.
Listen, man. Everybody that called us good for nothing, deadbeats, scrubs, gollywogs, useless, should be dead before 25. They're going to see our what?
Shall see your salvation.
You're going to see us as a kingdom of kings and priests, man. You're going to see us running the whole earth, man. You're going to be calling us lords and sir and master and captain. You're going to be calling us all those things, man. You rejoiced while we was in hell, man. Guess what? You're going to see our salvation, man. You rejoiced while we was in hell. You're going to weep while we're living in heaven, man. While we're in heaven, you're going to weep, man. While you see us calling the shots, while we ruling the earth. Read what verse you're at for time's sake?
24.
Go ahead.
From our God, we shall come upon you with great glory.
Listen, we're going to have great glory, man. Great glory. We're going to get the kingdom of heaven. We're going to be a nation that comes together. You see all these people that say, oh, all black men are this, all women are this. Listen, our nation is going to be of great glory, man. A great nation of great glory. Go ahead.
I.S.U.P.K and brightness of the everlasting.
Go ahead.
My children, suffer patiently.
Suffer patiently, man. Meaning what? Be patient with what we're going through, because we ain't going to be going through this forever. We ain't going to be in England forever.
Right.
We ain't going to be getting the flu every other week in England forever.
Right.
We ain't going to be doing this 9 to 5 forever. Go ahead, read on.
Suffer patiently the wrath that is to come from the Lord.
Say, suffer patiently the wrath that is to come from the Lord. So we have to just, go through it, man. Stand firm, stand strong, and go through it, man. Be a man and stand up and go through it. Go ahead.
God, for thine enemy has persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction.
Hold on, surely what?
Thou shalt see his destruction.
And the day is coming when we're going to see this man's destruction. We're going to see our enemy's destruction, man. We're going to see their bloodshed. We're going to see them going through what we're going through. We're going to see them in captivity. We're going to see them in chains, man. We're going to see their children sold. We're going to see them catching hell. Go ahead.
And shall tread upon his neck.
And shall what?
Tread upon his neck.
That sounds so beautiful, man. That sounds so beautiful. We're going to what?
Tread upon his neck.
We're going to tread upon his neck, man. I'm going to ask him why is he late, man. Asking me why I'm late for a 9 to... Listen, I'm going to ask him why is he late. And the difference is I ain't going to be paying him for it, man. And with that brings us to the end of the class. Also, I'm done with this Black History topic. I had a lot more, but I'm done with it. I'll continue next year. We didn't even get to finish it off, but I've been doing it for 4 weeks now. I'm done with it. I don't want to talk about it next week. I've had enough of it. Go ahead.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will call each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10 in the Hebrew Ma'ashra, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or the teacher. Priest fund, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like to give. Upcoming holy convocation is Hanukkah, and that's December 20th
on a Friday.
Sundown on a Friday. Or check the bulletin board in the hallway and check all I.S.U.P.K social media. That's social I.S.U.P.K, Instagram, Twitter feeds, Facebook, etc. If anyone wants to be a troop in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, headscarf. With that, I imagine the Lord's Prayer. But now, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayat, Shankar, Yahweh, Balakah, Taba'ah, Ratazak, Hayat, I.S.U.P.K, Ba'aratazak, Kawal, Hayat, Ba'ashemayim, Nathanael, Nakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalakana, Kabawakana, Kasalakana, Kabawakana, Wala'ah, Tabi Aino, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashina, Mayan, Right, Kiyat, Lakak, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahapara, La'awalana, Amen.
In the English. Our Father,
which
art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come,
thy
thy will be done, in earth,
as
it is in heaven. Give us this day
our
daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
And the prayer for the power of God. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Baba Shah, Nathanael, Hakah, Lara Kal Madawa, Hakah, Laptahar, Hammer to the Ryan, Hakah, Lahakwe, Hamathia, Hakah, Arakawa, Hatama Allah, the Garashan, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, the water Aman.
In the English, Yahweh,
the
name of Yahweh,
please give us the power,
the power to heal, all manner of sickness,
all
manner of disease,
and all manner of
the power to cleanse the lepers,
the power to
the power to raise the dead,
the power to raise the dead,
the power against unclean spirits,
the power against unclean spirits,
to cast them out,
in
the name of Yahweh,
the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it. And the blessings, Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh, Wa Mayaka Allah, Wa Allah Hayam, Batah Zabi'ah, Allah Wa Pihana, Yahanna,
YAHANNA,
Ha Ala
YAHANNA,
Ha Saranyam, Ha Kotazayanyam, Ha Kayayalim, Wa Akwafim, Yahweh, Wa Hashem Yahawashi, the one Aman.
In the English, bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh,
And Yahawashi,
and Yahawashi,
and Michael,
and
the angels,
Commanding
General Yahanna,
General
the
Yahanna,
generals,
the general,
the captains,
the
the
captains,
officers,
the
the
officers,
troopers,
the troopers,
and the sisters,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahawashi.
in the name of Yahawashi,
Thank you.
so be it.
The curse is, blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living,
and all things living.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahawashi.
in the name of Yahawashi,
Listen to us now,
right now,
and evils,
and evils,
and curses,
and curses,
punishment,
and punishment,
and destruction,
and destruction,
to the heathen,
that
speak against us,
that speak against us,
the prophets,
by prophets,
the teachers,
the teachers,
the princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the priests,
Israelite brothers,
the Israelite brothers,
and the school,
and
evils,
and evils,
and curses,
and curses,
and punishment,
and punishment,
and destruction,
and destruction,
to the heathen,
and
shake loose,
shake
the
loose
treasure,
the treasure
of the rich of Israel,
of the rich of Israel
that refused
that
to
refuse
give to the school,
to give to the school,
force their riches,
force their
to
riches,
enter into thy sanctuary,
to enter into thy sanctuary,
send evils,
and evils,
and curses,
and curses,
and punishment,
and
and
punishment,
destruction,
and destruction
to the Edomites,
to the Edomites,
and the nations,
and the nations,
and the drug dealers,
and the drug
the
dealers,
court system,
the court
the
system,
prison system,
the prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the government of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
the
Islam,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia, Ku Klux
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
skinheads,
Pastor Komitazi,
Pastor Komitazi,
gay movement,
the gay
the
movement,
lesbian
the
movement,
lesbian movement,
spies,
spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space programs,
national space program,
army,
army,
navy, Air Force,
Marines,
Wall Street,
open
up the internet,
and
and the airways,
the airways,
cable access channels,
the cable access
and
channels,
the radio channels,
and the radio channels,
convict the spirit
of
any of thy people
any of thy
that
people
seek to stop us
that seek to stop us
and bring swift destruction
and bring swift destruction
to all the heathen
to all the
that
heathen
stand in the way,
that stand in the way,
try to stop us
or try to us
from broadcasting your words
from broadcasting your
throughout
words
the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose
Let loose
all the plagues,
all the plagues,
cause them to go
cause them to
to
go
and fro
to and fro
through the earth,
to the earth,
consume them,
and consume them.
let the plagues
Let the plagues
shake the house
the house
of the thief
of the thief
and the murderer.
and the murderer.
Let Yahawashi,
Let Yahawashi,
Michael, Gabriel,
and Gabriel
come down
come
with
down
flying
to
saucers
the flying
and
saucers
punish all the heathens
and punish all the
that
heathen
come up against
that
us,
come up against
and
us
speak thy word,
and speak thy
cause
word,
it to be known
cause to be
by
known
all.
by all.
It is the angels
That is the angels
that have done it,
that have done it,
cause it to be spread
cause to be spread
through the media
throughout
throughout the whole world,
the whole world,
cause them to shake
cause to shake
as they come in.
as I come
In
in
the name of Yahawashi,
the name of Yahawashi.
thank you,
Thank you,
always,
always,
so be it.
so be it.
There's one here.
For the blessed Israel Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Hashem Yahawashi,
Hashem Yahawashi,
Barakana,
Barak
Yashala, Wahabaya, Sapaya, Barakapah, Magan Hagan, the golden family,
all Israel,
Hashem Yahawashi,
Hashem Yahawashi,
the one Aman,
all
and what we say was, Lord, in the name of Jesus, bless us and Israel and his school, bless your shield, protect our loved ones, in the name of Yahawashi, thank you, and so be it. And with that, that is one quick speech to the teacher, men of Israel, Abad Shabbat, Imadiah, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi, Barakatah,
Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi, Barakafam.
Yajamata, and class dismissed.